up and prove that they can be counted on in tough moments, because these are the type of games, right, that you expect a Weston McKennie, a Christian Pulisic, Gio Reyna, Tim Weah, Sergiño Dest. I mean, the list goes on of all the players that you would expect at this moment to be calm, to drive and create opportunities, to create tempo, to get on the ball, to urge the U.S. to pick their heads up, be confident. So where does that come from in this group at this point?
Mexico's last win against the US, a friendly in East Rutherford, New Jersey in September of 2019. 3-0 the score that day. Sargent and Miles Robinson, the only players here tonight for the US that played on that occasion. There were substitute appearances for them on that day, while Stefan Pulisic and McKennie all started.
The elbow of Pineda, it's just a little high and catches Scally right in the ribs. That's the type of game it's going to be. You can't expect calls for things like that.
Tillman standing over the free kick. PSV man swings it in towards the 6-yard box, but Malagón able to get there. And he'll get things going quickly down the right side. Mexican keeper with not much to do through the opening half an hour. The 27-year-old who plays for America, his 6th cap, has 3 clean sheets in the first 5.
Yeah, I've seen Mexico do that several times. They're bypassing the midfield and just happy. And we talked about it before the game. I mean, it is a very choppy field. The ball's bouncing up, and they're just bypassing the pressure in that mid block from the U.S. team. All the triggers when the ball comes in that they were so good against Panama and firing out and getting pressure. Several times Mexico just looping it over and finding Jimenez and forcing the U.S. to turn and face their own goal.
Scally with a throw down the right. Musa tries to turn, and Pineda will play the ball through. Down that right side, they'll come forward with Jorge Sanchez here, the Cruz Azul man with space. His 47th cap tonight. Comes back for Edson Alvarez. US Soccer on Max is brought to you by Volkswagen, presenting partner of US Soccer. The United States find themselves trailing by 0-0 here as this one goes long towards the right side. Jorge Sanchez will turn against Anthony Robinson. And out of play it goes here for a corner.
Pochettino just furious because Musa went central. Got a look at his first touch, it's still there. The man still got it. Yeah, he was furious that Musa went into a central position and allowed that ball to the left back with no pressure.
Alvarado will take it from the far side. 3rd start in a row for Mexico. Whipped into the 6-yard box where Sargent is able to flick it away. Mexico unbeaten in their last 3 since losing against Venezuela at Copa America. Failed to advance from the group at Copa America, finishing 3rd behind Venezuela and Ecuador. Angulo's throw, Jimenez with the flick, cleared away by Miles Robinson. Lucio got a touch to it there, but Angulo picks it up down the left side here. Bit of a battle with Aronson. Space now for Angulo. Checked back the other way into Aronson. Able to get it back for Huerta. Huerta skips past the first challenge. He's into the box. It takes a deflection on the way through. The US scrambling it away. Scally towards halfway. And Montes with the ball forward couldn't pick out Orbelin Pineda.
Mexico really growing into the game. Just confident on the ball, creating overloads in wide positions. And the U.S. just falling a little bit out of shape right now.
Huerta runs into Morris, gets the free kick. Yellow card coming here for Aidan Morris.
Here's the foul. What you didn't see is the quick free kick, and I think it was Morris just blasted into a Mexican player, and the referee let it play on. There's a little nuance to that rule of allowing a player to step back and it not being, encroachment for a second, but it just looked like that was a pretty straightforward. Mexican player was trying to block them, being able to play quickly.
A little over 10 minutes to go until half-time. Raul Jimenez in the 22nd minute with a wonderful free kick, the difference between the sides. Pineda with the ball into the box. Alvarez couldn't get on the end of it.
This is a great idea. Just slightly overhit. Alvarez gets a toe on it, but he was wide open. If that ball isn't overhit, he's putting that most likely right across the 6-yard box, and they got a great chance.
Ream forward down the left, finds Anthony Robinson. Push forward towards Aidan Morris. Tillman couldn't get there. Comes straight back from Vasquez. Pineda giving up the chase, and he'll get the corner here on the far side. It's all Mexico right now. 35 minutes gone. Chances at a premium for the US so far. They've only failed to score once in the last 10. That was the 1-0 loss against Uruguay in Copa America. Corner number 3. Alvarado in towards the back post. Jimenez trying the acrobatic effort. Comes back out to Alvarado on the far side. Alvarado up against Robinson. Aronson flicks it away. Jimenez tried to pick out the top corner.
We don't see the failed bike attempt that looked like, there it is, a nice training ground play where everyone goes near post, a little bit of a block to sort of clear him out in that far post. Just can't make the right connection, comes off his shin. And he wants that one back.
Miles Robinson forward towards halfway. Musa couldn't get on the end of that one. Not seen a lot of him so far tonight. Space for Pineda down the left side. He's got Angulo making a run into the box. Angulo drives it in. It's off Miles Robinson and behind here for a corner once again. Wave after wave right now for the US to deal with.
Yeah, I wonder if Musa gets moved into a central position. I mean, he's there now, and maybe Turner gives a shout for that. That's not heard. These Mexican fans getting behind their team. They're getting a performance in this first 45 minutes. It'd be a devastating blow for the US to concede right before halftime.
The outswinger from Alvarado this time towards the penalty spot, and the header is over the bar from Cesar Montes and wouldn't have counted anyway. The referee has blown for a free kick.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting. How do the US climb back in this game? And here's a look at the free header. Just can't rise enough to be able to nod that down under the bar. You see Musa in that central role right now. You wonder if that's one tactical adjustment as Aronson might move into this wide position just to try to get the work rate, the physicality of Musa into those central spots. Something has to give. I mean, Mexico just a little too comfortable, and the U.S. just honestly really struggling to find that possession off of that double pivot. When you have 2 deep playmakers like that, they're just clogging passing lanes if they're not getting on the ball and possessing for you.
It's 14 years since Mexico played in Guadalajara, just their second game in this stadium. The other was just after it opened in September of 2010, a 2-1 loss against Ecuador in a friendly. This is a stadium that will host 4 games in the World Cup in 2026, including 1 on opening day. And Mexico's second group game will be here in the World Cup as well.
That's where Mexico just have to play smart. I love that they want to get on the ball and possess, show that confidence, but don't want to give the ball over high up the field here and allow the U.S. to climb back into this game through counter pressing. That's what the great Mexico teams of the past would do, is they would just take the sting out of the game and frustrate you, and you would press at the wrong moment, and then they'd go, and then they'd spring on you.
Free kick in the 22nd minute from Fulham's Raul Jimenez. The difference between these two sides as we approach the final 5 minutes of the first half. Tillman battling for it there, but brought away by Alvarado. Angulo plays it out for Jimenez down the left side. He's up against Aronson. Jimenez with a really fancy cross into the box. The footwork was superb. They've won a corner.
Oh, a lovely bit of skill. Check that out. It's an excellent spot that he puts it in too. They're having fun now.
Mentioned earlier about his 50 goals scored in the Premier League. None of those were direct free kicks. He gets one tonight, and it's the first direct free kick scored in a Mexico-US game since 1996, when Rafael Garcia scored for Mexico. Alvarado high towards the back post. Turner thought about coming to get that. Jimenez once again. He's loving it tonight. You can just tell he is playing with so much confidence right now.
Turner's got to go grab that, though. That ball's at his 6. It has a lot of height on it. He just has to make that decision early.
Coming up next, it is the Volkswagen halftime show. Back in studio with Sarah Walsh, DeMarcus Beasley, Brian Dunseth and Gonzalo Pineda for their thoughts on the first half at Estadio Akron in Guadalajara. Musa down the right, pushing it forward for Aronson. No way through. Mauricio Pochettino was standing arms aloft, appealing to the referee, but nothing was given there as the US tried to play their way down the right side. It has not been a great first 41 minutes for the United States. Unable to try and keep the ball and control the game. It's been mostly Mexico.
I mean, it was a great start. It was a really good start. I mean, they were the most comfortable team. They were possessing the ball. They were pushing, creating turnovers, and ever since the goal, it's just moved the momentum, moved the confidence into the Mexican team. And when you consider it was only one change, well, I guess 2 with the injury in warm-up to McKenzie, a lot of these players have to be gassed after putting a lot of energy into the first game a few days ago.
Obel and Pineda from distance, straight off the back of Tim Ream. Romo, straight at Turner.
You can see Ream. He's just trying to be vocal, trying to motivate the U.S. team to climb back in this through physicality, through competing. That was the word that we've mentioned a lot, that's been talked about a lot, and saw that through most of the first game. And I honestly, I just give credit to Mexico. They've really, definitely since the goal, just been calm on the ball, possessed. I mean, they're taking fouls, they're being pulled around, and continue to be the aggressors out there.
Sargent chasing that. He's not really had much service so far tonight. Josh Sargent, his first time starting back-to-back games for the US since June of 2021, when he started the Nations League semi-final and final wins against Honduras and Mexico. Forward from Angulo. Miles Robinson heads clear. Anthony Robinson now in a battle on the far side with Alvarado, who's seen a lot of the ball and put in some dangerous set pieces as well.
It's interesting, as Gonzalo said, as we were talking in the green room, Bees and I, sometimes when they'd play against us, they'd see Landon's name, they'd put X's on it and say, we got to shut him down. There's almost, when they look around this starting 11 with all the players missing, there's no one they can circle to say, let's shut this guy down in this U.S. team. And I think, Mexico, we're making it about their game right now. The exact thing that, Pineda was talking about, that the fans are longing for, is where's the Mexico that shows that confidence, that bravado, that irreverence, and gets on the ball and makes it a tough day for the U.S. Little laughters there.
The 78th all-time meeting between these two.
Yeah, look at Morris and
rivals.
Busio. It's just there's no option there for them. They're a little bit static, and Jimenez is doing a great job of cutting out that initial passing lane into them. They have to be able to go find the ball in those moments.
Romo pushing it forward. Huerta couldn't get there, but Romo picks up the pieces. Angulo.
Even just to get the ball to bounce it back, because the idea is just to open up the passing lanes ahead of you so they can get it into the forwards, to get it into the inverted wingers, and they did that a few times early on, but haven't been able to find it since.
Romo. And the whistle goes right on 45 minutes, and Mexico lead the United States by 1-0. Raul Jimenez, the teammate of Anthony Robinson at Fulham, is the goal scorer. Has Mexico leading at Estadio Akron in Guadalajara as the United States get the second half underway, hoping to avoid a first defeat under Mauricio Pochettino in just his second game in charge. Alex Zendejas getting the call to come in. Zendejas, a player who plays his club football in Mexico. 26-year-old, was born in Mexico, raised in El Paso, chose to represent the United States, plays for Club America, and he gets the chance to come on in Mexico against Mexico tonight.
Well, tactically, it looks like for like. You can see Zendejas at the top of your screen briefly there, getting chocolate on his shoes, and Lund doing the same on this near side, just showing up at the bottom of your screen. So not moving out of those positions, and tactically you can see Busio and Morris still in that deep playmaker role, double pivot.
Lund with the ball forward towards halfway. He's on at half-time for his 7th cap. Lund replacing Anthony Robinson, that straight swap at left-back, having come on in the 67th minute against Panama. 22-year-old, born in Denmark, now in his 2nd season with Palermo in Italy. Mexico hoping to pick up where they left off at the end of the first half, which saw them with the momentum and with the advantage. Jimenez into the challenge with his former Fulham teammate Tim Ream. He's off the side of the pitch, hurt, as the referee allows play to continue, and a throw is given here as Aidan Morris was just dragged to the ground there. He wanted the free kick, but it's a US ball nonetheless. Aidan Morris making the move to Middlesbrough in England from Columbus in June for around $4 million. He's appeared in 4 games in a row now for the US for the first time. Busio down the right side. Morris. This is Zendejas. He came on late against Panama for his first appearance since the 2023 Gold Cup quarter-final. He's in the squad for the first time since the series in the Nations League with Trinidad and Tobago last fall. This is Matt Turner. Miles Robinson.
Yeah, I think Tillman too, at times coming a little too deep. One of the things in the first game that was so great was just the interchanging of, Pulisic and Aronson would occasionally, when Sargent would check back, make those long runs and force those moments of indecision to open up passing lanes.
Ball lifted over the top for Raul Jimenez. Tim Ream trying to get back. Jimenez cuts inside and Ream will stride away. Jimenez wins it once again. And the shot into the bottom corner has Mexico 2 up. Cesar Huerta with a goal. Mexico pounce early in the second half. And a mountain to climb in Guadalajara for Mauricio Pochettino's US. Third international goal for the Pumas man, Cesar Huerta.
We said it in post-game against Panama and pre-game today that the U.S. got away a few times last game where they turned the ball over cheaply and Panama couldn't punish them. And Ream does so well here to go and recover this. But how about that from Raul Jimenez? He doesn't put his head down. He just turns around and tries to track it back down. And this is just an excellent tackle. And then lovely footwork there. Really nice from Huerta. Watches this ball comes to him, he just collects it and then just shifts it onto that right foot, and before planting it, gets that shot off really quickly. And just, the last player in the team, Tim Ream, you would expect to give the ball away in an area like that. Really bad start to the second half here. Well done from Jimenez and Huerta, though, to jump on it.
Goals in successive international windows for Cesar Huerta, the 23-year-old who plays for Pumas. Scored in the 3-0 win against New Zealand in September. A year earlier had a goal on his Mexico debut against Australia. And now he gets one tonight. He started pretty well in the Apertura with Pumas, 3 goals in 10 appearances, couple of assists as well, and scored a goal in a 1-1 draw with Toluca just before the break. And now the goal from Cesar Huerta has Mexico in complete control here. It's the first time they've led the US by multiple goals in their last 8 meetings since a friendly in September of 2019, which was the last time Mexico won. Scally plays it away. Zendejas nips in there to win the ball back. The pitch cutting up again there on the far side. This is Ream. Charlotte man pushing it forward towards Josh Sargent, who is able to win the throw under pressure there from Cesar Montes.
Yeah, Sargent's been completely cut out of the game. With playing in that back 3 and having the wing backs and 2 holding midfielders so close to each other, it's been really easy for Mexico with that first line of confrontation to just force the ball left and right without any penetrating passes that are taking them out of the game.
Tim Ream, the captain, tonight once again, his 64th cap. Scally. Now Zendejas on the far side. Gets the boost from the home crowd in Guadalajara. Zendejas making his debut for the US back in the January camp in 2023 against Serbia. He's got 1 goal in what is now 9 caps. That came against Grenada in March of 2023 in a 7-1 win in the Nations League.
There was a moment right there with Busio. I mean, he's wide open to collect that ball and get turned. He's just got to demand it. And even just bouncing the ball off of him, it's just going to force Mexico to have to shift. And it's so easy and so predictable for Mexico to stay behind the ball, to stay in front of these passing lanes that break things open behind them. And this is where Busio and Aiden Morris go demand the ball, go get on it. I like the energy from Zendejas since he's come on. I mean, you see his willingness to want to go get touches.
Zendejas for Musa.
Marcus was talking about that at halftime. You have to see players that want to get on the ball.
Through for Jimenez here once again, just on the edge of the area, rolled into the path. There for the shot to come in from Alvarado.
This overlapping run, and the U.S. player's not sure who's supposed to go with him. It ends up being a great save from Matt Turner, and just fortunate that that first touch from Alvarado actually gets stuck underneath him. Otherwise, the next touch is squaring that ball. You saw it right to Romo for a tap in. And that's what Rafa Marquez is saying. Why don't you square that?
Lund flicks it up in the air. Jimenez goes chasing, stands the cross up back post, and the header over the bar from Huerta, who's looking for a second.
Watch Huerta just get off his feet early. Got to do really well to beat Robinson in the air, and it's just because he takes that early leap. Can't imagine he's thrilled.
You mentioned Rafa Marquez just before, who was on the bench as an assistant coach alongside Javier Aguirre. Rafa Marquez with 147 caps for Mexico, the fourth most in team history. 2 goals all time against the US. He'll take over for Aguirre after the World Cup through to the 2030 World Cup. From the New York Red Bulls man, of course. In a long and successful career.
Here's another look at the goal, and Ream does really good to recover. He just takes that touch and opens it up. Maybe doesn't think Jimenez got up off the ground that quickly. That's a wonderful tracking back from the striker. An excellent challenge to put the ball right to Huerta's feet, and it's a lovely finish once it comes to him, but just a terrible mistake from the U.S. There's Pochettino's reaction.
Ream alongside Miles Robinson at the back tonight for the US. The third time that they have started together. The other two both against El Salvador in March 2023 in the Nations League, a 1-0 win, and a 0-0 draw in World Cup qualifying in San Salvador in 2021. It was a late switch, and we have got confirmation that Mark McKenzie was withdrawn in warm-ups with a sore groin. Angulo to the byline, gets the cross back into the box. But this is out of play.
Yeah, I'm sure Pochettino will stand behind his decisions to let players go. We got a chance to speak to him in Austin, and it's very clear with limited games with this team before big tournaments and no qualifiers and everything that he's got to deal with, and the challenge of becoming a club or becoming a national team coach coming from the club era. I mean, he's going to look at getting players into great situations with their clubs, keeping them healthy, getting them back, making sure they're in their starting teams. Of course, that's the approach. And listen, I like that approach, but he will be questioned on, yeah, but a chance to go on the road to Mexico with your players. If you're talking about building confidence, which is a big thing he's talked about, you got to worry you're missing a moment to catalog the type of confidence getting a result on the road against Mexico that you can call on in the future, or hurt the confidence of players that end up in that bad highlight reel over the years against Mexico. And so I would imagine Pochettino stands up strong and says, listen, players were hurt, I've got to return players, or there's pre-agreements. And he is right. How these players play with their club team and getting in those starting lineups is going to have a huge impact on how good this U.S. team is going to be. He's got to be ready to face those questions on, was it the right call to send so many players home when you're playing your rival on the road?
Pulisic heading back. AC Milan play Udinese on Saturday. It's then a Champions League week for them against Bruges.
And this idea that players are carrying injuries, I mean, I'm sure Bees will back this up. There's so many times you go into camp and you're carrying an injury. You're playing for the U.S., you're getting a cap, and playing against Mexico, I mean, you'd hide any injury you could. And so, yeah, it's going to be a tough balance for Pochettino. And one, I'm sure when he was on the club side, I joked with him. I'm sure you were reluctant to let people go when you were at Spurs and Chelsea. And so, at least the good part is Pochettino knows what it's like from that vantage point and will establish great relationships with these teams. But I'm sure Chris